I take my approach to the loving kindness meditation from a series that was given by Bhante Sujato some years ago, and he got it from Ajahn Mahachachai. He emphasizes letting the feeling that's arising from loving kindness be like the learning sign to help a person remain connected with the meditation. So with intentionally, we bring out the words of kindness. That's something that we do on purpose. And the words of kindness help to evoke the thought of kindness, which is also intentional by us. That's a choice. So we choose to bring up the thought of kindness and to do that in a way that's meaningful and sincere, not just saying words by rote. The feeling is not something that we intentionally feel a certain way. Instead, the feeling is like the result of the thought. If we lose track of the meditation and stop thinking about loving kindness and start thinking about something else, or the mind goes in a different direction, then the feeling of kindness might change or vanish. And so that's the way, it's like a barometer. It helps us to know whether or not we're staying on track and staying connected to the meditation. In the course that Bhante Sujato gives about loving kindness, he puts a lot of emphasis on the failures that are the challenges a person might have because for some reason or another, it's not easy. It's not always easy to bring up and to sustain the thought of loving kindness towards one's own self. Some people find it difficult to locate, to find. And so the mind doesn't want to stay with this practice because actually the mind doesn't want to go there. So this is because of some hindrance that's blocking or stopping us from stabilizing with loving kindness. It could be that towards one's own self that we have some deep-seated belief that we don't deserve happiness or something like that, or we have some kind of self-destructive tendency, something like that, some kind of self-hatred. And so then what Bhante Sujato emphasizes is, if that's happening, you can address it like head on and try to see with like a lot of mindfulness and honesty to see what's really going on, where the difficulty is, and then one can sort of like address that directly to try to unwind whatever idea it is, or what thought it is, or what's lacking and making it difficult. And likewise, when you think of having loving kindness towards beings who are dear and lovable to you, it could be that it arouses greed. Greed comes up. because of your love. You love them so much. You want to be around them. You want them to love you back. You sort of like the wanting mind, or the naturally a pleasant kind of feeling that comes up when you think about a lovable person. Here comes that pleasure of thinking of that lovable person, and then with that pleasant feeling, there can come like the desire. You want more. You want more of that pleasant, and so then that greed can cause you to lose track of the meditation. He suggests, if that were the case, that you encounter that kind of difficulty, that you imagine your dear, beloved, lovable friend to die and pass away and to become like a corpse, and then you can meditate on their corpse for a few minutes to sort of like neutralize the greed, and then go on with the practice. And likewise, he has like different, suggested cures for different blocks or hindrances or difficulties that one may find in trying to really just stabilize and extend with this practice of kindness, and to not lose the meditation. So because if there's a characteristic feeling that comes along with that meditation, it's normally either a pleasant feeling or at least a neutral feeling, and one would be able to use the feedback loop to learn how to become more and more stabilized in meditation. And with that greater and greater stability, then it creates the possibility for somebody who doesn't yet know how to enter samadhi, that they could enter and gain samadhi through that method. Another kind of meditation that's naturally pleasant, we were talking about this last week, is the breath meditation. And in that case, there's a kind of a pattern that's given in the sutta about becoming aware of the bodily aspect of the breathing, the physical, the body of the breath, the material breath, and to allow the body of the breath to become tranquilized, to become more still, more subtle, more peaceful. And likewise, going through the other sections of that sutta, pervading the breath meditation can be at the somatic level very, very pleasant, and therefore very easy to stay with. And if the blissful feeling arises, it doesn't mean that we've changed, that we've forgotten about the breath and gone to a different topic. Instead, it's just within the breath, looking at a different angle on the very experience of the breath, that blissful feeling can arise. But then again, allowing it to settle down, cool down, and become more calm and subtle. And the same way with activity of the mind, allowing the activity of the mind to become more and more subtle, to calm down and to cool down. And so then, in that way, even within that one meditation, this is why it's such a great practice that can take us a long way. It's going along the full gamut from a strongly warm, positive, and blissful experience into something that can be quite, have a lot of stillness to it, a lot of calmness, a lot of unification of the mind. And then within that still, calm, and unified mind, it's possible to experience something like letting go, cessation of dukkha, fading away of the self, relinquishing of any kind of agitation. And so then with the breath meditation, it's possible to go very far indeed. But there's a kind of a pattern of having the awareness starting out with a direction towards the body. And there's some kind of a sense of like awareness is like a light, and it's illuminating our experience of the sensations in the body. And there can be a very strong sense of this sort of fullness or suffusing or filling, so that the entire body is pervaded, illuminated, and filled up with some kind of awareness. I'll call it awareness. And this is a very calming, healing, and soothing type of meditation, which is so helpful for being able to step away from the agitation when the mind is, in the more active state, forming a lot of sankharas and forming a lot of thoughts and concepts and wishes and plans and proliferations and reactions, and then some kind of multiplication of thoughts that seem to justify the reactions, and some kind of projection of some kind of karmically effective activity that one feels a need to do in order to try to seek for some relief from the agitation that's been promoted by those constructions that we filled our mind with. That's the kind of tiresome process, which is actually it's the cause of dukkha, isn't it? And so the cause of dukkha is not healthy. So it's healthy and healing to be taking a full meditation period at least, in which the mind is practicing like complete harmlessness, like there's no intention arising, no thought, nothing coming into the mind, which has got the nature of being harmful to us or toxic to us. There's nothing coming into the mind that's a bad karma, that's buying a negative, painful experience going forward. And instead, we have a chance to just that practice of harmlessness makes a room for the inner psychology to heal and to recover from the negative habit patterns. It's like the negative habit patterns are like a groove that we've fallen into. And as long as we keep repeating it, it's like the road we're trying to walk on has got a deep rut. And so it's very difficult to avoid falling into the rut if it's very deep and it's very prevalent on the path. But then if you're able to step away from it for a while, then maybe through the process of nature, those grooves or those ruts, those patterns will tend to be filled in and tend to be covered over. Or perhaps it's something like a wound or a scar. So if we don't keep, picking on the scab of some wound that we have and instead just leave it alone, it will heal and become covered over and again become smooth, and the skin will be intact. And so just in that same way, by practicing meditation and having a respite from the busy fabrications of the mind, is a wonderful, blessed relief. I heard it said by, let's see, who said this? I can't give a source. Somebody once said that when they meet the great, well-known meditation teachers, the monks who are thought to be very accomplished, some of them are very warm, loving, jolly, happy, smiling personalities. And other teachers who are also great and accomplished practitioners don't have that warm, jolly, happy, laughing quality, but instead they have sort of a distant quality, which when I heard this, they compared that teacher to someone who's like a star in the sky. So very clear, but distant, and not giving the warmth, but still giving light. It can also happen for us sometimes that the meditation practice would be very cool and neutral like that. And I wanted to just encourage that that kind of like a very objective type of meditation can also be good and fruitful. I believe in a certain kind of way, pursuing the theme of the Satipatthana, of seeing the arising, seeing the cessation, and seeing the arising and cessation of the phenomenon that are being examined in the practice of the Satipatthana, that kind of process is something that leads one to being very, very objective, very balanced, kind of cool in a way. Or you could say, this is going to come up in the sutta study that we're going to have, not this weekend, but the following weekend, about the Indriya Bhavana, about examining the five khandhas, but in particular, examining feeling and gaining the capacity by just absolutely looking at feeling and what it really is, to lose the enchantment towards feeling. So a pleasant feeling, it's like, doesn't have the same magic as just a pleasant feeling. And an unpleasant feeling doesn't require a response. Like, we don't have to get rid of an unpleasant feeling. It's just an unpleasant feeling. And the mind becomes so objective and so neutral that the different spectrum of pleasant or unpleasant feelings becomes almost like interchangeable. One can find within a pleasant experience, you can find something unpleasant because it's impermanent and changing and not to be relied on. And within an unpleasant feeling, you can find something pleasant, even in the unpleasant, because you could see it's not personal. It actually doesn't touch the self because there's no self. It's just a feeling. No need to. Nothing becomes like not a problem. But then that kind of investigation of the Dhamma, the application of mindfulness, and the steady, sort of like relentlessly looking at each thing that arises, that they're arising cessation, that, at least in my experience, it may not be this way for you or for everybody, but that tends to lead towards a meditation that has a certain quality of coolness and detachment to it. I believe that one shouldn't be afraid of having a beautiful, pleasant, wonderful, blissful meditation. And one shouldn't be afraid of having a meditation that's quite neutral like that. One shouldn't feel that one is good or one is bad. It's just that this is maybe how it may come across at different times. But if a person is trying to overcome their hindrances or overcome certain defilements, or even to overcome some deeply established habit patterns that we notice which are negative. You know, like if somebody has a habit pattern of being fearful or being anxious or being depressed or being greedy, whatever it is, whatever the typical mood that may come along and cloud our progress, then it's worthwhile to learn a variety of different types of meditation techniques, at least, 3 or 4 different meditation styles, like loving kindness, elements, breath, and body awareness, at least those 4. And one should at least be able to perceive the foundations of mindfulness. One should at least be able to perceive the 3 kinds of feeling. One should at least be able to recognize the states of mind and to see the changeability in that. One should at least be able to recognize that a hindrance is a hindrance. One should at least be able to recognize that the factors of awakening are friends to our practice, friends to our meditation. And if they arise for us, we should then be able to cultivate and develop them and allow them to stabilize and become more consistent, more trained in the sense that we learn the quality of those wholesome qualities and how to bring them up, so that when we want them, we can call them. So like if we need mindfulness, we can call mindfulness, and when we remember mindfulness, we can bring it. When we remember, if we need energy, if we remember, we can bring it. If we need tranquility, if we know what tranquility is, we can remember tranquility and we can bring it when we need it. So at different times, the different styles of meditation will be supportive to our continued practice towards the arising of insight. And it's good to be able to do a kind of a self check-in, to know what's going on both at the beginning of the meditation, during the meditation, after meditation, to see what we need and to then give ourselves the kind of practices or styles of meditation which is going to be supportive to us. I don't know if what I'm trying to explain is very clear to you, everyone. So now I really would like to hear any questions. If you understand what I'm talking about, maybe you can give the feedback and explain it in your own words, and that will help others to understand. Or if you have a question, welcome to ask. Or if you have a report to give about what you've experienced with the warm meditation and the cool meditation, and when each one is the most useful for you.
Can I try again?
Okay, here's a question from Colleen. You have to talk to the microphone.
I'm trying to see if I understand clearly. But like say the warm meditation that I mentioned is more like, say, the metta meditation. I mean, to my understanding. And then the cool one, probably more like the satipatthana, that it's detachment that we can see the arising of the kanda. Maybe next week, Ayya will elaborate more on the feelings, something like that. Is that, do I understand it correctly? Kind of.
The meditation which is calming,
Right.
Microphone, Ayya.
Like metta.
with awareness,
Yes.
tends to be pleasant.
We can't hear you, Ayya.
The meditation that's,
Oh, sorry.
I need a microphone. The meditation that's calming and pervading the body, I think tends to be that warm kind. And then the meditation which is more analytical and especially examining and especially looking for the impermanence and seeing the rising and cessation. To my experience, that becomes very objective and very, sort of like detached.
Toward the seeing, right?
Yeah, towards seeing. Yeah. Maybe somebody else will have an idea. I saw Venerable Dhamma over here while I was speaking. She was smiling. So I almost want to know, what were you smiling about?
I don't remember. Many weeks there was
Okay, well, I'll invite Richard to speak.
Thank you, Ayya. When I do metta meditation, I have to be careful about the individual that I try to initially express, loving kindness to. If I know the individual, like on a personal basis, or I have known them, because I know people have passed away or something, right? As I begin to express loving kindness in my mind to them, I always think about some new insight that I've had in the Dharma, understanding of the Buddha's teaching, and that I want to share with them. And the next thing you know, I'm like having a conversation in my mind as if I'm teaching them the Dharma, not teaching them, but sharing with them that new thing that I and going into details about things. And then all of a sudden I'll catch myself, oh no. So what I find best for me, if I'm doing that type of meditation, is to focus on the Buddha, or to focus on like the Roshi that I trained with. He's passed away now many years, but many years ago, because the Roshi, I didn't have like a close personal relationship. It was a very teacher-student. He did have students, I didn't know at the time, that he had closer personal relationships with. But for me, I didn't know that that was even allowable. So when I was there going to meditation retreats and stuff, I was very strictly just focusing on the practice and everything. And so I never developed any sort of personal relationship. So I find someone like that, my mind doesn't have a tendency to start going in this other direction. I can maintain it better, for one thing. There's a thing that I just came to understand more clearly about meditation and entering the jhanas and the formless states. The four jhanas and the first four formless states, Buddha uses this term. Mahamoggallana uses it also. He's in there and he has perception and attention. Perception and attention. And then he would say, And then say if he went into the first formless state, he would say, and then forms would begin to assail me. Now, perception and attention indicate a subjective objective situation, that your subjective mind is looking at something objectively. So like when you reach fourth jhana and you have equanimity, but you're still looking upon things with an equanimous mind in a subjective objective situation. But so each one of those things is a perception and attention. But when you get to what I prefer to call cessation of sense perception, Buddha says that that's the cessation of equanimity, because in neither perception or non-perception, Buddha says there's still formations arising in the mind. But when you get to cessation of sense perception, there's no formation arising in the mind, so there's no subjective objective experience. And so even so that you're not looking on something with equanimity, and that's why it's also, Buddha says that attainment is the cessation of equanimity at that point, because it becomes just ceta without cetana producing sankharas. So anyway, that might be helpful if anyone's able to go that far and attain those things. I don't know, but it might be a useful thing to understand. Anyways, thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you. I'll just comment that I think there is, of the Zen approach, I think there's a really beautiful kind of a commitment to really taking the practice and like pushing through, like going through the barrier with a consistency of one practice. And in the when you, especially when you talk to some of the more like, popular like mindfulness teachers, there's nothing like that, the level of determination that is sort of the hallmark of the Zen schools as I understand them. And it's with that we have a chance to have some kind of a breakthrough to go to those levels. I'd like to call on Elaine.
Perhaps I'm a bit misguided because I do a lot of practicing on my own, but I have the Sangha. For me, the whole process has been more natural. I recognized that my heart felt really hard, and I worried about that. I thought, how can I be a good Buddhist with this hard heart, right? And just kept on plugging away at meditation, and things happened. And then reaching a point of contentment. And once I reached that point of contentment in my meditation, it's something like a glowing light that I just want to spread out to others, not a named person or unnamed person or being. It's something that I feel that I'm receiving, and then I want to give again. And my first intention with finding Buddhism, wanting Buddhism, was just to be a better, kinder person. Thank you so much for your teachings. They are so helpful.
Thank you for that share. I appreciate that very much. And in the practice of loving kindness, I believe that it's more common that the student is advised to take a a general category of a type of person rather than choosing a specific individual. And that's because one can become distracted by the particular aspect of an individual person. That instruction that I heard from Bhante Sujata, that it's now been a number of years since first encountering that teaching, he suggested taking actual people almost for the purpose of making you on the meditation cushion confront the hindrances or the negative factors that can come up around specific individuals and overcome that, so that by the time you have learned to really hold and cultivate loving kindness towards at least 4 different actual people, you will have also learned how to take care of several different kinds of potential bad habits of the mind. And I know that some people who I know who are very powerful practitioners, there can be a situation where let's say some individual is really presenting in a really horrible and threatening way. And by seeing the danger, if you should allow hatred to come up against that person, then to like strongly, with a lot of clarity and a lot of strong intention, to practice loving kindness towards that difficult person until one is able to overcome the aversion, overcome that negative reaction, and purify that arousal of anger or hatred or whatever that might come up. So that is a case where the practice of loving kindness is a difficult practice, but it's also a powerful practice, and one that is transformative to our psychology.
Thank you. I can actually see how I might be avoiding some people. I have worked with difficult family members, and yeah, I don't wish them any harm, or I wish them well now. But thank you for that.
Okay,
I'll pay attention.
very good. Maybe we'll let Elaine have the last comment since we've come up to the time. I appreciate everybody's patient listening, and I appreciate your good effort, your good practice. We can pay respects to the Triple Gem. Araham Samma Sambuddha Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Svakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samham Namami. Okay, thank you everyone for your